Hi, tribe. Hi, tribe. I hope everybody had themselves a great week. Welcome back. I am going to be picking up this week right where we left off at. This is part 2 of the creator or your king. Part 2 of David's rule. Okay, specifically, that's actually who we're looking at today. We got one heck of a windstorm out here. It's a very cloudy but mild day out here, so I'm very happy for it. But you guys may hear some of the wind in the background. Maybe it'll add to the study, right? Because the things we're going to talk about today are pretty eventful as far as how it impacted the history of the Creator's chosen people, right? They asked for a king. They're going to get what they were looking for. My previous viewpoint, I know I told you guys before that it didn't matter about my previous viewpoint, but actually it does, because publicly I declared things as it pertained to David, because I had a belief system that I did not challenge. And I'm thankful that I had time to challenge it, because it pointed out things to me that made me realize that, hey, something's up with this kingship. Yes, the Creator said that he was choosing a son from the line of David, but we just proved last week which son it was and which son it wasn't. So fast forward this week, and we're going to get into the study of what David did. I covered this already previously in the Rightful Rulership episode. I think I did 3 episodes. The first covering Saul, the second covering Solomon, and the first covering Saul, the second covering David, who we'll be covering again today. And in the third one, I briefly touched on Solomon. But I like the way I'm going to do it now, because we're going to do 2 for David. And then this third one is going to be pertaining to Solomon. And guys, you really got to get into the kingdom of Solomon, because like I said, I don't let too many people in as to what I listen to and what I don't listen to. I'm just trying to really be able to hear the Creator here. So one of the ladies I listen to, her name is Naomi. She has pointed out that something went down in Solomon's kingship as well. I keep telling y'all, we keep getting to the same conclusions. There goes the door flying open. We keep coming to the same conclusions, but we're coming to them in a different manner. So I appreciate it, though, because it's showing me on the flip side what she's found, and on the flip side is showing me what I've found. But it kind of confirms for me that this information is epigenetically being awoken in us, okay? One day I'm going to take you guys down the epigenetic memory, down that path, because I really want to show you guys how that links to Ezekiel 17 and cloning, right? I told you guys I worked on a farm before. I'll be back at it tomorrow. So I kind of know when you crop the top off of something what you're doing, okay? And that's mentioned in Ezekiel 17, but I would like to do a deeper study on that. And I want to do a deeper study, guys, on first man Adam. Okay? It is really critical that I show you guys that I think as it pertains to some of our biblical characters, some people were a little more disgruntled than we may have noticed. Okay? And I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, 2 people I believe were disgruntled that we had not noticed was definitely Adam, okay, and I can prove that. And I have my suspicions about Moshe, okay? And there's a reason why, guys. I'm going to have to take y'all down that path, but I cannot throw everything that I found at you. I can't throw everything I found at you guys in one day or in one episode, or, I have to build you guys up to this. But trust me when I say this, I am checking and double checking, and I'm realizing that some people are arriving to the same conclusion. I've taken my path, they're taking theirs. But one of the things that I really like to do in my spare time is, genealogies, right? And I just got to tell you, there was some shocking things as it pertains to some people's genealogy. So one person that I'm definitely going to have to do a show for you guys is going to have to be First Man Adam, because Naomi, for Ruth Abbey's show, she says that, Adam hid a lie in his bosom. And I'm going to tell you what I think that lie is. I think that lie is that Eve left the garden with him. That's just one of it. But I have found that Adam is actually the first prophet of Islam based on his genealogy. I mean, this is what I found. And as it pertains to tribe on tribe war, that's very real. I found, Naomi found that Bethlehem used to belong to the tribe of Ephraim, which Ephraim, you wouldn't say you're an Ephraimite, you would say you're an Ephraimite, right? Which I'm doing some research on that suffix, that demonym, they call those demonym, the suffix ending for certain words. So sometimes you'll have, like if I was to say you were from the Bahamas, you would say you're a Bahamian. No, Bohemian. Good God, I can't believe I said that out loud, y'all. And I'm not gonna re-record this, so it's gonna be in there. But it's these different suffix endings that will go on. Like if I was just like, I'm from New York, so I'd say I'm a New Yorker. So I'd put an ER on the end of that, or an IAN, or for Bohemian, or Ephratite, an ITE. Well, that's actually a feminine suffix, guys. As were a lot of the tribal names, okay? So we're just doing a deeper dig. That's all I can promise you guys. The genealogies, oh, sorry, I lost my voice there a little bit. The genealogies, I think, are paramount to proving that that's what I was going to tell you. I told you I got that 45-year-old brain that goes from one subject to another, but I'm getting back on track. Naomi realized that Bethlehem traded. Somehow the transfer of ownership went from the tribe of Ephraim to Judah. She noticed that. Now, I didn't notice that one, but I did notice that Timnah, sometimes described as Timnath, right? Timnath. Well, that ownership transferred somehow from Joshua in the Promised Land, okay, to Judah, like controllership of these mines and stuff. And I found that out when I was trying to prove that this is the place, because I've actually found Timnah here in Colorado. Well, I also proved that Colorado means ruddy. This is when I was in the whole, this is the place where the people race, right? And then thankfully the creator pulled me from that and had me come on over here. Well, that being able to engage in that type of research prior to this is very helpful to the TANAHK TORAH study, right? Because I'm seeing like, hold up here. I thought the creator said, take you guys back to the 5 daughters, right? Because I actually put that in one of the slides in here. Remember the 5 daughters, right? And I did not include that in there. But the reason why I had put to remember the 5 daughters is because the creator said that what belongs to a tribe stays with a tribe. So that's kind of why that was important. Let me make sure I'm recording, guys. I am. Okay, that's why that was important to add, because someone explained to me then, if the creator has told us that, hey, what stays with a tribe stays with that tribe, how did it go from one tribe to the next? I mean, how is this happening? I'm sorry to say, we needed to take that scripture that tells us the scepter, a lawgiver will not depart, nor the, oh gosh, I gotta find it because I don't like just spitting out things like that to you guys. But my brain didn't think to put this scripture in there. But it's the scripture that I think we've been reading wrong, or like inflicting at the wrong part wrong, right? At the wrong part wrong. You'll get what I'm saying. It was the dream that Abraham was saying to, it's in Genesis, if I'm not mistaken. He was saying to his sons, right? Because we always hear him say that we always hear them say that he made a prediction to Ephraim as well that the crown would be Ephraim's, right? I should have found that scripture for you guys. Let them come out with great possession. Don't be afraid. Let me see. Okay, this is the Creator talking to Abraham. But I need Abraham talking to his sons and telling that Judah would be come up from the prey, and that the scepter will not depart, nor a lawgiver from between the feet of Judah. Right. Okay. I think we've been reading that wrong, like until Shiloh, right? Because that's the rightful ruler. Shiloh is the rightful ruler, guys. And that's what that breaks down to, right? And I have my suspicions on who the rightful ruler is. Ephraim is my firstborn, guys. Just saying, I never could understand how we skipped over Joseph to Judah. But I'm going to take y'all on that journey and prove my point. I'm going to prove my point that at some point things seem to have gotten hijacked. Okay? That's the long way of me taking the long way around the park to say, hey, it looks like Solomon is a hijack, guys. I don't know how else to say it. You know, y'all don't know this, but I still got my TORAH sitting here, and I still got my notebook sitting here. And one of the things I have open is it's to Solomon. I still got my pencil, guys. I still do it old school like I was doing when you guys were able to see what I was doing, right? Let me go back up to slide 26. So I still got my notebook open, and one of the things you guys don't know is that I have right here Solomon. You know, there was some terms that when I dealt with Solomon that I had to look up to like make sure I was reading this right, you know, like, and one of the things I told you guys, ownerships of other tribes somehow got transferred on over to Judah. Okay, and this was under Solomon's reign, guys, you know. Compulsory labor. There's a word for you guys. At the end of this, I hope I remember, but if I don't, you guys need to look that term up. It's a fancy, pretty nice way of saying slave. To build the temple and to build his palace, which he spent way more time on his palace, and he actually used gold overlay. All right, guys, that's gold plated. Come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's that stuff that you put clear nail polish over so it don't turn. These were some of the things that Solomon did. So when I got to reading about it, I had to stop myself and say, am I reading right? You know? We have a few more subscribers. I want to thank those people for coming on board. And trusting me to share some of the things that I believe the Creator has shown me, to wake me up from my previous belief system, guys. My previous belief system believed in, I really hate to even admit to what I believed in before because I feel so gullible, I guess, even. To even believe some of the things I believed, even throughout my whole journey, guys. I've been through a few different teachings that's finally brought me here, right? And I think a lot of us have, searching for truth, right? Just trying to find what we knew wasn't sounding right, but just putting the pieces together to what did sound right, right? That's where you guys find me at. I follow quite a few people, and oh, sorry, what did I just do? One of the people that I follow, like I told you, is Naomi, and we are on a very similar journey. I get to my journey through the genealogy a lot. Something, especially when it came to the rightful rulership and realizing that David overstepped his bounds. Okay, guys, we shared this already in the rightful rulership studies, but I like it here as well because, like I said, it's easier for you guys to follow along. Sorry. So let me get into this a little bit before I get too distracted. Okay, guys, let me see how far along I am in this recording. Oh, I can't. Oh, I think it tells me over here how many minutes in we are. Yeah, we're about 16 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to try to take this the distance. And I want you guys to know I created this presentation about 2 months ago, right? So I've admitted to you guys that I'm on this climb to understand Torah. My study has been very recent, as of like the last 4 to 5 months, that that the Creator showed me that Eve did not leave the garden, that this punishment was specifically to man, that when I see gender specific in the Torah or Tanakh, that I need to take a moment and recognize this is gender specific, guys. It's been very hard for me to bring this message out because, one, I'm a woman, so a lot of camps and a lot of Christian institutions will preach that we're not supposed to teach you guys anything. Okay, yet we see examples of prophetess is. I hate that word because it doesn't come out easy, and in some cases where the women were just called a prophet, like Miriam, right? So how do we rectify that a woman can't teach you anything? You close off the avenues to what could be being shown to you is all I'm going to say. But I'm not here to change your belief system. If you hold to that fast, keep holding to that fast. I don't personally believe that a lot of people are going to be able to hear this message. I'm here for even one person that hears this message. That my job's done. I don't hold the belief that I'm going to go on to my site and I'm going to see that thousands of people have tuned in. No, I don't believe that. I do believe Torah, that it is a remnant. I don't need thousands of people to tune in. I need for whoever my mother called to hear this. That's it. It's not my job to do that. The voice is who does the calling. It's not me. But if you're tuned in and you're subscribed, I appreciate you for tuning in. I'm going to keep bringing the message that I have to bring, no matter, if it hits one ear. Hopefully it'll hit 2 ears. Hopefully you got an ear on the other side. Anyway, let me stop, y'all. That's all I needed to say before we started this, all right? But David functions as God. That's a pretty bold statement. But I showed you guys, and I'm going to show you in here, that in our 2 previous kingships, it was our Creator that appointed. And somehow, David is in there. He's old. He's thin-skinned. They think to throw a virgin in the room with him. Yeah, that's how I'd warm up my grandpa, right? No, but that's what they did. And some could say they took advantage of David. Some could say David was being pompous. I don't know. But whatever you want to say, he acted as God. Okay? And he's not. He's a man. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what David did. This is easy to follow along. This is 1 Kings 1:1, right? I did a good job putting that in there. I'm thankful I did. Okay, King David was old. Let me zoom in. And stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. That's a funny word, got. Anyway, he got no heat. Wherefore his servants said unto him, Let there be sought for my king the Lord a young virgin, and let her stand before the king, and let her cherish him, and let her lie in thy bosom, that my lord the king may get heat. My lord the king. See, it's that where you start putting this man in front of your Creator. You start referring to him as my lord. Anyhow. So they sought for a fair damsel throughout all the coast of Israel, and found Abishag, a Shunammite, and brought her to the king. And the damsel was very fair, and cherished the king, and ministered to him. But the king knew her not. Then Adonijah, the son of Haggith. Don't forget, guys, these are some crazy names, so bear with me. Then Adonijah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. And his father had not displeased him at any time in saying, Why hast thou done so? And he also was a very goodly man. And his mother bare him after Absalom. So this is Absalom's mother, who has finally had another child after the loss of her son. And his name is Adonijah. Okay, so now we're in verse 7. And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest, and they followed Adonijah and helped him. But Zadok the priest and Benaniah the son of Jediah and Nathan the prophet and Shimei and Ray and the mighty men who belonged to David were not with Adonijah. Okay, and Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fat cattle by the stone at Zaleth, which is by Enrogel, and called all his brethren the king's son and all the men of Judah the king's servant. But Nathan the prophet and Benaniah and the mighty men and Solomon his brother he called not. Wherefore Nathan spake unto Bathsheba the mother of Solomon, saying, Hast thou not heard that Adonijah the son of Haggith doth reign, and David our Lord knoweth it not? Now therefore, come, let me, I pray thee, give thee counsel, that thou mayest save thine own life and the life of thy son Solomon. I wonder why Nathan told her that, right? But anyway, go and get thee unto King David, and say unto him, Didst not thou, my lord, O king, swear unto thou handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? Why then does Adonijah reign? Behold, while thou yet talkest there with the king, I also will come in after thee and confirm thy words. So they're scheming. And Bathsheba went unto the king into the chamber, and the king was very old, and Abishag the Shunammite ministered unto the king. You notice they keep saying he's very old. But I'm going to show you something later on that I question just how old David was, right? Because I think they keep leading up to that to say like, oh, he wasn't really aware of what he was doing because he was just so old that he could be taken advantage of. But David seems to hold on to a beef later on that lets me know, nah, he was a little bit in his right mind because he remembered that beef. So clearly his mind wasn't that gone. Okay, but they keep putting old in here. We have to remember that it was the men that wrote this stuff. So some things may be favorable to David. But I have a mind that thinks. And my mind makes me say, hold on, this dude remembered this beef later on his deathbed. But we'll get there. Okay, so you got Nathan and Bathsheba scheming to go in there and let him know that one of his sons has exalted himself, and that they have their own plan, okay? So Bathsheba went in unto the king and the chamber, and the king was very old, and Abishag the Shunammite ministered unto the king. And Bathsheba bowed and did obedience unto the king. And the king said, What wouldest thou? And she said unto him, My lord, thou swearest by the Lord thy God unto thine handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne. So now she's telling him that he swore to his God. Okay, so if she's making this up, then she has actually gone in there and lied to David. But we see no other record of David telling her this. I mean, we don't see all the accounts of him and Bathsheba together, but we see Nathan telling her, oh, let the king know that he swore this to you. So if they did this, they are a trip, okay? And she said unto him, my lord, right? Okay, well, we read that already. And now behold, Adonijah reigneth, and now, my lord the king, thou knowest it not. And he have slain oxen and fat cattle and sheep in abundance, and have called all the sons of the king, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the captain of the host, but Solomon thy servant have he not called. And thou, my lord, O king, the eyes of all Israel are upon thee, that thou shouldest tell them who shall sit on the throne of my lord the king after him. Otherwise it shall come to pass, when my lord the king shall sleep with his fathers. Hold on to that. He's going to sleep with his fathers. That I and my son Solomon shall be counted offenders. I wonder why. And lo, while she yet talked with the king, Nathan the prophet also came in. And they told the king, saying, Behold, Nathan the prophet. And when he come in before the king, he bowed himself before the king with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, my lord, this is all pre-planned. So he's doing a big old show as if he hadn't told Bathsheba that he's going to come in while she's talking to him. So he's stooping down real low to the ground. This is all the kiss up to David, okay? And Nathan said, my lord, O king, hast thou said, ooh, that was a big old windstorm. And Nathan said, My lord, O king, hast thou said, Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? For he has gone down this day, and have slain oxen and fat cattle and sheep in abundance, and have called the king's sons, and the captains of the host, and Abiathar the priest. And behold, they eat and drink before him, and say, God save King Adonijah. But me, even me thy servant, and Zadok the priest, and Benaniah the son of Jedediah, and thy servant Solomon, have he not called? Is this thing done by my lord the king, and thou hast not showed it unto thy servant, who should sit on the throne of my lord the king after him? Then King David answered and said, Call me Bathsheba. And she came unto the king's presence, and she stood before the king. And the king sware and said, As the Lord liveth, that have redeemed my soul out of all distress, even as I swear unto thee by the Lord God of Israel, saying, Assuredly, Solomon, thy son, shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne in my stead. Even so will I certainly do this day. Okay? Then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth, we're in verse 31, and did reverence to the king and said, Let my Lord King David live forever. Notice she also said that David swore to his God. She didn't claim our Creator, not the God of Israel. She refers to him as, you swore to your God, David. Okay, notice that separation, guys. That's critical, because after David dies, Bathsheba serves as queen mother. It's a term we're going to get into, especially when we get into Solomon, okay? But notice she says, your God, okay? Anyway, Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth and did reverence to the king and said, Let my lord King David live forever. And King David said, Call me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah the son of Jedediah. And they came before the king. And the king said unto them, Take with you the servant of your lord, and cause Solomon my son to ride upon mine own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there king over Israel. And blow ye with the trumpet, and say, God save King Solomon. Then you shall come up after him, that he may come and sit upon my throne. Sounds pretty possessive. For he shall be king in my stead, and I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah. So it went from our Creator appointing him to David. So you see right here, that bold statement that I made, that David functions as God, I'm showing you right here. I'm not just making bold statements. I'm showing you right here that David says, I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah. Hijack. Right there in your face. And Benaniah the son of Jedediah, verse 36, answered the king and said, Amen. The Lord God of my lord the king say so too. When did he hear that? Huh? Verse 37, As the Lord have been with my lord the king, even so be he with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my lord King David. So Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah the son of Jedediah, and the Cherethite, and the Pelethite went down and caused Solomon to ride upon King David's mule, and brought him to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took an horn of oil out of the tabernacle, and anointed Solomon. And they blew the trumpet, and all the people said, God save King Solomon. And all the people came up after him. The people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them. And Adonijah and all the guests that were with him heard it, as they had made an end of eating. And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, Wherefore is this noise of the city being in an uproar? And while he yet spake, behold, Jonathan the son of Abiathar the priest came, and Adonijah said unto him, Come in, for thou art a valiant man, and bring us good tidings. And Jonathan answered and said to Adonijah, Verily our Lord King David hath made Solomon king. And the king have sent him with Zadok his priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah the son of Jedediah, and Cherith and the Phelites, and they have caused him to ride upon the king's mule. And Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, have anointed him king and Gihon, and they are come up from the rejoicing, so that the city rang again. This is the noise that ye have heard. And also Solomon sitteth on the throne of the kingdom. And moreover, the king's servants came to bless our Lord King David, saying, God make the name of Solomon better than thy name, and make his throne greater than thy throne. And the king bowed himself upon the bed. And also thus said the king, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which have given one to sit on my throne this day, mine eyes even seeing it. And all the guests that were with Adonijah were afraid, and rose up, and went every man his way. And Adonijah feared because of Solomon, and arose and went and caught hold of the horns of the altar. And it was told Solomon, saying, Behold, Adonijah feared King Solomon. For lo, he have caught hold on the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear unto me today that he will not slay his servant with the sword. And Solomon said, If he will show himself a worthy man, there shall not a hair of him fall to the earth. But if wickedness shall be found in him, he shall die. So King Solomon sent, and they brought him down from the altar, and he came and bowed himself to King Solomon. And King Solomon said to him, Go to thine house. Okay, so we see the people afraid. We see King David function as God. I showed you guys this, that he appoints his choice for king. Okay, and we're going to go over it again one last time so I can prove this point, that that's not how the kings were chosen. Okay, first king was chosen. 1 Samuel 10. This is the KJV. All right, 1 Samuel 10. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, Is it not because the Lord have anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? When thou art departed from me to this day, then shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin and Zelzah, and they will say unto thee, The asses which thou wentest to seek are found, and lo, thy father have let the care of the asses, and sorroweth for thee, saying, What shall I do for my son? Then shalt thou go on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall meet thee 3 men going up to God to Bethel, right? Because Bethel is actually linked to Rachel, right? So how does it transfer ownership? We'll talk about that later. You're going to see one carrying 3 kids, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine, and they will salute thee and give thee 2 loaves of bread, in which thou shalt receive of their hands, right? So the Creator is very much involved in this process with Saul. This is Saul, okay? I'm just showing you guys. And after that, thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistine, and it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither, to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place, with a psaltery and a tabret and a pipe and a harp, and before them, and you shall prophesy. And the Spirit of the Lord will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man. And let it be, when these signs are come unto thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee, for God is with thee. Who told us that God was with Solomon? Okay, he's showing us here that he's definitely with Saul. And thou shalt go before me to Gilgal, and behold, I will come down unto thee to offer burnt offerings and to sacrifice sacrifices of peace offerings. Burnt offerings, okay? 7 days shalt thou tarry, till I come to thee and show thee what thou shalt do. And it was so that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, God gave him another heart, and all these signs came to pass that day. And when they came to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and he prophesied among them. And it came to pass when all that knew him before time saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this come unto the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? And one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb. Is Saul also among the prophets? And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high places. And Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servant, whither went ye? And he said, I went to go look for the animals. I went to seek the asses. And when we saw that they were nowhere, we came to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, tell me, I pray thee, what Samuel said unto you. And Saul said unto his uncle, he told us plain that the asses were found. But of the matter of the kingdom whereof Samuel spoke, he told us not. He told him not. And Samuel called the people together unto the Lord to Mizpah, and said unto the children of Israel, this is a public declaration, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hand of Egyptians, and out of the hand of all kingdoms, and out of them that oppressed you. And ye have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of the adversity and your tribulations, and ye have said unto him, nay, but set a king over us. Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. And when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. And when he had called the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matri was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further. This is what they were supposed to be doing. Inquire of the Lord, okay, of their creator. Whatever title you want to give it. We're reading the KJV, so I got to use this language because this is the one people usually follow better. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further, if the men should yet come thither. And the Lord answered, behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff. And they ran and fetched him thence. And when they stood among the people, he was higher than that of any of the people from his shoulder and upward. And Samuel said to all the people, see ye him whom the Lord hath chosen, and that there is none like him among all the people. And all the people shouted, and God said, God save the king. Then Samuel told the people that the manner of the kingdom, Samuel told the people the manner of the kingdom, and wrote it in a book, and laid it up before the Lord, the Creator. And Samuel sent all of the people away, and every man to his house. I believe this is the book that Hilkiah finds later on and has to take to Hilda, but we'll get there. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and there went with him a band of men whose hearts God had touched. But the children of Belial said, how shall this man save us? And they despised him and brought no presents, but he held his peace. And what is David called, guys? A son of Belial. Later on, isn't he? All right, so, I put a double one in this. All right, so let's go to the second king is chosen, right? I just wanted to show y'all how involved the Creator was in that whole process. He gave Saul a vision to confirm it to the people. The people had further questions. Some people outed themselves out of it, didn't bring gifts. But listen, there was a process, and it didn't look like nothing we read before that just happened in 1 Kings 1:1. Okay? Okay, so second king is chosen. This is David. All right, so we're in 1 Samuel 16. And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil, and I will send thee to Jesse, the Bethlehemite. The Bethlehemite, remember I told you about that suffix, that ite suffix is a feminine suffix. All right, and when I say that, I'm saying like if you were to say you're a New Yorker or a Bohemian, that ending that kind of gives you that identity. Okay, so it could be an ER, it could be an IAN, it could be the ITE, and I have been researching the ITE for a reason. It is a feminine adjective, guys. It's a feminine suffix. All right, and it's also used on most minerals. Keep that in mind, guys. And the Lord said unto Solomon, right, he was mourning over him. He's sending him Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I've provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hears it, he'll kill me. And the Lord said, take a heifer with thee and say, I'm come to sacrifice to the Lord. Notice it's a heifer too, not a bull, guys. It's a heifer. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. It's important, guys. And Samuel said that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town, also Bethlehem goes from being named, oh God, it was, I have the screenshot, but I don't want to deviate from this, guys. So I need to remember that it goes from house of bread, I believe, to house of flesh under Judah's reign. Okay, guys? So that's a whole nother thing to look at. And Samuel said, how can I go if Saul were to hear? Right. So he says, take the heifer with you and, go and tell him you're going to do a sacrifice. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, right? We're in verse 3. And I will show thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, comest thou peaceably? And he said, peaceably. I'm come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab, and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. Right? Listen, somehow I didn't include in here. Let me see. Somehow I didn't include in there the next slide that would have showed you guys that either way you cut it, that Samuel is, in fact, as a matter of fact, I could just open it up. Let's just go ahead to it. What you guys don't know is I always have, oh, look at that. There we go. I usually have my Berean right next to me. So we're going to go switch from the KJV to the Berean just briefly because I do want to finish this for you guys, right? And let me see, what verse did he? Hold on, guys. My earbud almost came out. Okay, verse 6. So we're going to go to verse 7. And remember, we're making the switch to the Berean. Okay? So we're in chapter 16. Oh, I'm in 2 Samuel. No wonder why that didn't look right. 1 Samuel 16. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm going to go to 1 Samuel 16 because this is David, right? This is David. So verse 7. All right. You have Jesse bringing his sons before him. He's seen Eliab, and he thinks it's Eliab, right? So the Creator says to Samuel, do not look at his appearance. This is verse 7. Or at the height of his stature, because I refused him. For not as a man sees, for man looks at the eyes, but the Creator looks at his heart. Remember, Saul was very tall. So unfortunately to Samuel, he just kind of assumed, given that Eliab was tall, that, oh, surely it must be one of the characteristics that the Creator looks for. But it wasn't. It was really the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, neither has the Creator chosen this one. But Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, neither has the Creator chosen this one. And Yeshai made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel, and Samuel said to Yeshai, the Creator has not chosen these, right? Because he knows it's the Creator's job to choose, all right? He's not taking that from the Creator. And Samuel said to Jesse, are these all of the young men? And he said, there remains yet the youngest, and see, he's tending to the sheep. And Samuel said to Jesse, send and bring him, for we do not turn round till he comes here. This is the Creator's job. I can't go until I see all of your sons, is what Samuel's telling Jesse, okay? Verse 12, and he sent and brought him in, and he was ruddy, with bright eyes and good looking. And the Creator said, arise, anoint him, for this is the one. And Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Ruach of the Creator came upon David from that day and onward. See, that's one of the things too. In here, look, and the spirit of the creator turned aside, this is verse 14, from Saul, and an evil spirit from the creator troubled him. See, one of the things about being able to be appointed king, from what we see, and this is the second witness, right, is that there is a spirit referred to as the Ruach that is appointed to the king, that falls upon the king. So at this point, hopefully the king is in line with the creator. He can get that spirit, and he's moving in alignment with what the king, what the creator would have him do, right? We don't see that happen with Solomon. So we don't see, excuse me, guys, I had to drink something. We don't see this spirit fall upon Solomon, right? Because who has chosen Solomon? It looks like David. David actually tells you. He doesn't hold his tongue. He tells you, I have appointed Solomon, right? All right. So let's keep on moving. We see two manners in which our kings were supposed to be chosen. And we see David, whether he's old and crunchy and too aware or too unaware of what's going on around him, which I'm telling you guys, I doubt that. And I'm going to show you why. Let's keep going. All right, so you know me, I like to do my little bullet points to reel it back in and go over what we've just covered, right? This is how the kings of Israel were chosen, both times by the Creator. Solomon is a throne hijack. I can prove that bold statement. I think I did already, guys. All right? He was not chosen by the Creator to reign next, nor to build his temple. Okay? I have a study specific to Solomon where I will prove all of these points, okay? And it's going to be a deep dig. I want to say it would be the study after this one, but I don't want to make promises, guys, because I really want to go back to and touch on First Man Adam, because I think it's really important. I think that one of the truths that I've been given, outside of the fact that the Creator is not rolling with these kings that we ask for, one of the truths that I've been given is the fact that our mother, the mitochondria DNA, is what's keeping the man alive. There is the why death to contend with. Eve does not leave the garden. And I believe Adam was a disgruntled individual that left alone. And in order for me to prove that, I have to get into his genealogy. So I get into a little bit of genealogy here in this specific episode because it's necessary, right? Like I told you guys, Torah TANAHK leads my study. But I want to show you guys the reason why I came up with the rightful rulership, right? As thankfully to the Creator. I don't never want to take anything from the Creator, because before this, all that I was researching is, were the stones indigenous to here? Was the frankincense tree indigenous? Stuff that was caught up in vanity to me, and it was a stumbling block. Because the most critical piece is this book right here, man. And in anything you do outside of that should be guided by this book. I should not be wanting to be Judah so bad, or searching for a man that when we're going to get into it, guys. Let's keep going. This is why right here, guys, that I say personally, I don't believe David was too old to know what was going on. These people were appealing to his ego by going in the room and bowing all low and carrying on. So he was very aware, and they knew he was aware enough to where they knew, I better go in this room and bow real low so I can appeal to his ego, or whatever they were trying to do, okay? I'm going to take y'all into this situation right here. I never knew this. But David asked for blood on his deathbed, right? Yeah, you're going to see the title, and I'm not shying from this title because this is a belief system that I held. So it's also a belief system that I have to publicly denounce. I believed in the story of David being linked to Prester John. I believed in that story, guys. I bought into that belief system because I didn't do my homework. I didn't challenge that belief system either, but I do now. And I'm going to stand on what I found. I'm never going to cower back from what I found and what used to be my belief system. And I'm going to show y'all why. Come on, this is not no shots at nobody. This is my public declaration on the behalf of my Creator for a belief system that I once held, that thankfully my Creator has allowed me to be able to dispel. And I know who and what I'm waiting on. Okay? And I tell you publicly, it ain't Prester John. Not on this front line. Let's keep moving. Whether y'all knew it or not, David asked for blood on his deathbed. Okay? You'll notice this title. I say that the Torah tells us that we cannot live past 120 years. The Creator, we know, cannot lie. Okay? So I believe Torah. Torah is my foundation. Torah told me no man can live past 120 years. I believe it. We know there have been exceptions, but we didn't see in the Torah where there was an exception made for David. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. So for me, Prester John is just a man-made legend. In this display, though, we get to see David once again avoiding conflict and passing this on to Solomon. Okay? Let's read this story. It's in 1 Kings 1, 11 through 27. Let me enlarge this too, guys. Told y'all I got those old eyes, right? Wherefore Nathan spake unto Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, Hast thou not heard... did I do this right? Oh, guys, I might have put the wrong one in here. Oh, I did. I don't like that I did that. Okay, it's in 1 Kings anyway. Let's go to it. I got my Torah right here anyway. So let's just go ahead to it in. The only thing is, it's gonna be in the Berean, so it's gonna be a little different in wording. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna scroll back up to here and let's just stay on this, because I must have pulled in the wrong slide, guys. I do apologize for that. As long as I had this thing, I should have proofread again. So that's my fault. But I'm gonna take y'all to the scripture, and just have, when we're doing our study, guys, have your Torah next, your TANAHK, Torah TANAHK, have it next to you, because in case I make a mistake, you always want to be following along in your own study too. Okay. So hopefully you have it next to you, and that's a good place to be. But listen, right here, let's go to 1 Kings chapter 2, okay? We're picking up right where we left off, where Solomon has told that he's going to deal gently if they prove themselves worthy, right? He's told that to Adonijah, okay, his brother, basically. Okay, so we're just picking up right after that anyway. So 2 Kings 2. And the years of David drew near to die. Okay, the days of David drew near to die. And he commanded Solomon his son, saying, okay, so David knew he was going to die. So come on, guys, it's in the Tanakh. It's telling us, I mean, he's accepting it. He's moving like he believes he's going to die, so let's keep on reading. And he says to Solomon his son, I'm going the way of all the earth, and you shall be strong and be a man, and guard the charge of the Creator, your God, to walk in his ways, to guard his laws, his commands, his right ruling, and his witnesses, as it is written in the Torah of Moshe, so that you do wisely all that you do and wherever you turn, so that the Creator does establish his word, which he spoke concerning me, saying, if your son guards their way, if your sons, I don't believe that he said this, did he? I don't want to mislead you guys, but that's a separate journey I'm going to go on later on. I got a point to prove with that, because it's plural, guys. It's with an S. I want to make sure that the Creator actually said this to David. I don't know that he said this. I think David's justifying his... Anyway, I'm not going to go down that. Let's just talk about what I do know. It says sons, okay? If your sons guard their way to walk before me in truth, with all their heart and with all their being, saying, there is not to cease a man of yours on the throne of Israel. And also you know that Joab, son of Zeruiah, did to me, and what he did to the two commanders of the army of Israel, to Abner, son of Ner, and Amasa, son of Jether. And he slew them and shed the blood of battle in peace, and put the blood of battle on his belt that was around his waist, and on his sandals that were on his feet. So act according to your wisdom, and do not let his gray hair go down to the grave in peace. Okay? This is what he once done to Joab, his commander. Remember, Joab, I told you guys, has a story for him. And Joab was the commander when David asked for Uriah to be put on the front line and withdrew his men from him. So that's a whole story. I hope you guys read that. But now show kindness to the son of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and let them be among those who eat at your table. For so they came to be near me when I fled from Absalom your brother. And see, with you is Shimei, son of Gera, the Benjamite from Bachurim, who cursed me with a grievous cursing in the day when I went to Machanaim, when he came down to meet me at the Yarden. And I swear to him by the Creator, saying, I shall not put you to death with the sword. He did swear to him. And now do not leave him unpunished, for you are a wise man, and know what you should do to him, and shall bring his gray hair down to the grave with blood. And David slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David. And the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. He reigned 7 in Hebron, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years. And Solomon sat on the throne of his father David, and his reign was firmly established. You know, he had these alliances, didn't he? Some may say they were marriages. We all know that the purpose of marriage back in the day, as far as it pertained to royal kingdoms, was to establish alliances. So to marry over 700 women is to establish an alliance. It does not put your trust in your creator, the one that brought us out of Egypt. So we're going to move on from that. I think I proved to you guys that David asked for blood on his bed. Blood on his deathbed. I also proved that David was on a deathbed. Okay, so I no longer believe in the legend Prester John. That's my public declaration on behalf of my creator. Let's keep on going. Right, the Portuguese sailors searched for David, aka the Prester John, for 500 years. I'm going to put right here the scripture. They wasted their time. I wasted mine. All right. Don't waste yours with this myth. You can just trust TORAH. Okay. And that there was a letter sent from Prester John, right, to Rome, right. But I did my own research of a certain priest. Okay. But right here, the Creator tells us, the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be numbered. Right? His days shall be 120 years. All right. That's already there. All right. I do want to show you guys briefly why I have my suspicions about this letter from the so-called Roman Catholic Church. There was a lot of letters that went from the Roman Catholic Church. I also did a quick dig into the name diverse, right? Because that word, for some reason, was nagging me. It made me think of the dumb diverses. It made me think of the coat of many colors, Ezekiel 17, right? Vanquish all Saracens. Okay. That's just how my mind works, guys. So when I get to these thinkings, right? Naomi has come to the understanding that something occurred with Moses. I did too. Okay, guys, where we went from the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, to just hijacking everything, right? And I had a good conversation with my sister one day, and I said, you know what? If we were to remove the fact that these are Levite priests, and we were to say to ourselves, hey, this is a band of priests running around, hijacking everything, right? Claiming everything. What would that look like to you? And my sister, she said, you know, that sounds like colonizers, right? I liked it. That's what I was reaching for, but I was being more specific. It sounds a lot like the Inquisition, not the Inquisition, sorry, the conquistadors coming here, right? It sounds a lot like the Roman Catholic Church and the Spanish conquistadors, right? And I'm like, what if I could actually prove that? Huh. Something told me, guys, to dig on Moses and his genealogy, right? So I pull up Moses, right? Because I'm saying to myself, well, what if the Levites like went rogue and got a little out of control, right? I'm not the only person with this, let's just say hypothesis, right? With this raw thought, right? That I'm just throwing out to you guys, right? Because I'm digging on this. I'm still doing my study. I'm just ahead of what I'm teaching you guys, if that makes sense. So like I said, it could always be subject to change because Torah is a climb. Shout out to Naomi on the Ruth Abbey channel. That's her saying, right? She came to this understanding in a different manner. I came to the understanding by digging into the genealogies, guys. So right here, I have Moses, right? And something in Moses's genealogy jumped out to me, but it wasn't right away, right? So I was just looking at his genealogy. And, right, I'm saying to myself, if my previous studies had me under the belief that Mexico and Moscow and these places are named after Moses, how did he, I've even heard Moses is Massa Musa. How did he amass such a fortune? We tend to forget that Moses is a Levite. Okay? He's a Levite priest whose father and mother were nephew and aunt, which Moses obviously didn't want us to know that right off the bat, because rather than put that in Exodus 1, where he's talking about his genealogy, and it sounds so great, oh, a Levite man married a Levite woman, he buries that in Exodus 5 and 3, I think, or is it 6 and 3? He buries that later on. You start reading in the places where they're hoping you get bored, where they're hoping you won't read the who begot who stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They've already set you up to feel like, oh, that's the boring part of the quote scripture. You're going to get, it's annoying. Just read past that. Nah, stop yourself. Don't underestimate any word. Be ready to research everything. Trust me. It was not until I got further into Exodus that I'm reading that Amram and Jochebed are aunt and nephew. But anyway, I start researching Moses's genealogy for a reason. I really can't even remember what led me down this, guys. But Prince of Judah, I think that's what it was. I kept seeing him connected as a Levite somehow to the Judahites. And I was like, hold on here, what am I seeing, right? Eleazar, woman is an Ezer. I'm trying to tell you, a lot of these titles were hijacked. I'm trying to tell you something, guys, and I'm going to have fun proving it. Okay, look at the grandparent relationship, okay, for Moses. After I told you guys, I questioned the Levites. After they weren't allowed into the promised land, I'm just trying to tell you guys something. And what do I see in Moses's genealogy that jumps out to me? Ferdinand the First. It's the great-grandfather, right? Okay, so I say to myself, well, wait a minute. Ferdinand the First, who in the world is Ferdinand the First related to, right? So that's my tag, guys. Wake your butts up. This is definitely an inner war going on in Israel, right? And I'm telling you guys that Moses is going to have his own study coming soon. We got to do this in an order, though, guys. But I have sped ahead. So y'all just got to trust me to get you there. I'm not asking you to trust me. You can hold on to that thought, and I'll bring you up to that episode. Or you can read ahead and check out what I'm saying. But you guys going to have to see. I'm doing some deeper digging here. And Ferdinand the First is the Holy Roman Emperor. Why is that important? Isn't the Holy Roman Emperor behind the dumb diverses? Isn't he behind the Catholic, the Vatican? How is this linked to Moses, guys? The lawgiver shall not depart from Judah. Guys, I'm trying to tell you something. I think I see why Ephraim is a cake unturned. I think Ephraim was burnt. I think I see what happened. I think I understand how Timnah goes from being in the territory of Ephraim to now in the territory of, in the possession of Solomon. Let's just call it what it was. Solomon had the Timnah Valley, the Colorado, and we see David is described as ruddy. How does it go from being in possession of Joshua, which his tribe actually bestowed to him, to a possession of Solomon? I think I see how. All right. Like I told y'all, this is just a preview of the hand that the Creator allowed me to hold, as far as being able to stop and say, you know what? Let me dig deeper on some of our classical biblical characters, because I have my suspicions. Okay. All right. But I want y'all to see that there's a lot going on in the background. Okay. That if we dig a little deeper, we're going to see some connections, some royal connections that are connecting to these priests and that are connecting back to David. Okay? But like I said, I'd like to do Torah first and then get into all of that other stuff, later on. But here's some stuff on Ferdinand the First, so you guys can have a better understanding of who he was. He's listed as the first Holy Roman Emperor. Okay? The King of Bohemia and Hungary, which if he's related to Hungary, then we know he's related to daggone Saint Stephen. Right? We know this. I couldn't believe what I was finding. Anyway, and also related to the Habsburgs in Spain and all of these kingdoms that are still in play right now. From 1526, who with his Peace of Augsburg concluded the era of religious strife in Germany, following the rise of Lutheranism, by recognizing the right of territorial princes to determine the religion of their subjects. So he enforced territorial religious princes. He also converted the elected crowns of Bohemia and Hungary into hereditary possessions of the House of Habsburg. Is Judah still reigning, guys? Anyway, we know when we ask for these kings that it was wickedness. Okay, the Creator told us right here, 1 Samuel 12. And Samuel said unto all Israel, behold, I've hearkened unto your voices and all that ye said unto me, and have made a king over you. And now, behold, the king walketh before you. And I am old and gray-headed, and behold, my sons are with you. And I've walked before you from my childhood unto this day. Behold, here I am, witness against me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Or whose ass have I taken? Or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or of whose hand have I received any bribe to blind mine eyes? Excuse me, guys. Therewith, and I will restore it to you. And they said, thou hast not defrauded us, nor oppressed us, nor hast thou taken out of man's hand. And he said unto them, the Lord is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day, that ye have not found out in my hand. And they answered, he is witness. And Samuel said unto the people, it is the Lord that advanced Moses and Aaron, and that brought your fathers up out of the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may reason with you before the Lord of all the righteous acts of the Lord, which he did to you and your fathers, when Jacob was come into Egypt, and your fathers cried unto the Lord. Then the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, which brought forth your fathers out of Egypt, made them dwell in this place. And when they forgot the Lord their God, he sold them into the hand of Sisera, captain of the Philistine, and into the hand, on it. The Philistine. Where did we go? And into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. And they cried unto the Lord and said, We have sinned because we have forsaken the Lord, and have served Balaam and Ashtaroth. But now deliver us out of the hand of our enemies, and we will serve thee. And the Lord sent Jerubbaal and Bedin and Jephthah and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hand of your enemies on every side, and you dwelt safe. And when you saw that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, came against ye, you said unto me, Nay, but a king shall reign over us, when the Lord your God was your king. Now therefore, behold, the king whom ye have chosen, and whom you have desired, and behold, the Lord have set a king over you. You ask for it, you're going to get it. And if ye will fear the Lord and serve him, and obey his voice, and not rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then shall both ye and also the king that have reigned over you continue following the Lord your God. Did they obey his voice? But if ye will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then shall the hand of the Lord be against you, as it was against your fathers. Now therefore stand and see this great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. Is it not wheat harvest to today? I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain, that ye may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which ye have done in the sight of the Lord in asking you a king. So Samuel called unto the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day. And all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said unto Samuel, Pray for thy servant unto the Lord thy God, that we die not. For we have added unto all our sins this evil to ask us a king. And Samuel said unto the people, Fear not, ye have done all this wickedness. Yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. And turn ye not aside. Remember, Samuel told them before that the Creator actually told Samuel that the king was going to ask for a tenth. Doesn't that sound like the priest, guys? Yeah. Let's keep going. And Samuel said unto the people, Fear ye have done all this wickedness. Yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. And turn ye not aside, for then should ye go after vain things, which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are vain. People to place, vain. For the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it hath pleased the Lord to make you his people. Moreover, as for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you. But I will teach you the good and the right way. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart. Only fear the Lord. For consider how great things he hath done for you. But if ye shall still do wickedly, ye shall be consumed, both ye and your king. Listen, guys, the king is a man. We're going to be faced with a lot of tough decisions. And I say right here, I told you guys I don't want to sound like a robot, but I'm going to read this because I think this is important. When faced with choices between obeying your Creator and a man, making the right choice and trusting your Creator with full obedience is the wisest choice. Our Creator is not fallible. Only man is subject to fallacy. And I wanted to include in here that scripture where he says, I know the plans I have for you. But I actually included in here, I told you guys before that I don't look much for answers outside of the Tanakh or the Torah because of what the Tanakh Torah has told me. Right here, these scriptures, right? It says here, and he violently taken away his tabernacle as if it were a garden. He have destroyed his places of the assembly. The Lord have caused the solemn feast and the Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion, and have despised in indignation of his anger the king and the priest. The Lord have cast off his altar. He have abhorred his sanctuary. He have given up unto the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as in the day of a solemn feast. It says here, Zion have stretched out a line. He have not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore, he made the rampart and the walls to lament. They languish together. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He have destroyed and broken her bars. Her kings and her prince are among the Gentiles. The law is no more. Her prophets also find no vision from the Lord. This is why I'm not looking to them, guys. The elders of the daughter of Zion sit upon the ground, and they keep silence. They have cast up dust upon their heads. They have girded themselves. It probably says with a lie. Comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion, for thy breach is great like the sea. Who can heal thee? Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. This is Lamentations 2 and 14. The other, I think, is Ezekiel, and the other, I think, is Isaiah or Jeremiah. And I'm so sorry I didn't include the scriptures in there. This one I know for a fact, though, is Lamentations. I want to say 2 and 14. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity, to turn away thy captivity. But they have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. All that pass by clap their hands, okay? They cannot tell me what caused, what's led to the my iniquity or my captivity. Do I believe Torah? Yes, I do. And it tells me right here, they can't tell me. They have seen vain things for me, things that wasted my time. Thankfully, the Creator allowed me to pick it up, and I've somehow been on the fast track to learn some of the mysteries that are in it, and I am eternally thankful, because I could have stayed in a place where I had a false belief system, guys. Right now, I'm rooting it in Torah. All right, and anybody along for the journey, thank you, guys. The Creator is wanting you to get this information. I keep telling you guys, crack that Torah for yourself, because you may get a different understanding too. All right, so let's go ahead. 1 Samuel, but 13 and 14. This is another message from the Creator. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord have sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord have commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded me. It never said that he found it. It said he sought. I imagine that when David jumped up and decided to appoint Solomon as king and step into the role of creator, that I don't think that the Creator was pleased with David. There was a couple of instances where the Creator could not have been pleased with him. We already saw the instance with Bathsheba and that firstborn child and what he suffered from that. I don't imagine circumventing what the Creator's will was as it pertained to Absalom pleased the Creator. Bathsheba looked like she knew she had sinned and was afraid for her life. The best thing the people could have did was rose up and take her out and her hijack seat. And then maybe went to the Creator and asked him, who do you appoint? Because we would not have any of this buffoonery we got going on right now. I think that's a made up word, but y'all know what y'all know what I'm saying. We wouldn't have had it. At no point do you hear anybody consulting the Creator. You hear scheming. I showed you last week where David had these detestable friends. You see Joab flip ship, and he's over there at his son's house, Adonijah, holding on to the horned altars. That's a whole nother story. I show you that David once again circumvents. He does not want to deal with confrontation. He passes it on to Solomon, his son, and tells Solomon to deal with Shimei, which he seems to be able to remember just fine that Shimei cursed him. He seems to be holding on to that memory just fine. So I don't see where David is not aware that he's acting like the Creator. What I see is a man that has let a kingship get to his head, and now he has stepped in the road, overstepped his bounds, and placed his bastard son, because I told y'all the definition of bastard, that it has to be from a nobleman claimed by that nobleman. He's let his bastard son sit on the throne. And I've showed you that the mitochondria is alive in that man. So is his mother on the throne? Do we need to dig into the background of Bathsheba? Daughter of, I think they said Eliam? I think we do. Let's keep going, guys. I just tell you guys here that I wonder if the Creator ever found what he was seeking. It said he sought a man, but it never said that David fulfilled that. And I think he's very specific when he says a man after his own heart. It has seemed right from the beginning that, you know, we hear him say that he had regret that he had made man. It seems that his conflict or his struggle with obedience lies directly with men. Not to say that